Sentire Media.
Welcome to the Stop Italian Sounding podcast, uncovering authentic Italian food. I'm your host, Robert Campana, and join me as we delve into the rich heritage of genuine Italian food, exploring its legends, history, and traditions. Through important tips and insightful interviews with industry professionals, you'll gain a deeper understanding of authentic Italian food. Welcome back, everyone, to the Stop Italian Sounding show, uncovering authentic Italian food. So today I'm joined by Robert Allegrini, the president of the National Italian American Foundation, NIAF, an organization dedicated to preserving, promoting, and celebrating Italian heritage and culture here in the United States. Before his leadership, or beyond his leadership, I should say, at NIAF, Robert is a public relations and hospitality executive, author, and civic leader with an impressive career spanning top luxury brands. He's been recognized as one of the top minds in hospitality marketing. And beyond his industry achievements, Robert is a dedicated advocate for Italian American heritage. He's the founder of Chicago's Accademia Italiana della Cucina, a former president of the Italian American Chamber of Commerce, and currently serves as the honorary consul of San Marino. His contributions to Italian culture and cuisine have earned him the distinguished honors, including being named Cavaliere, or Knight, by the House of Savoy, Italy's former royal family, in 1991, and Commendatore, Knight Commander in the Order of Merit of the Italian Republic in 2002. And today we'll dive into his passion and my passion, of course, for authentic Italian food, the work of NIAF, and the evolving perception of the Italian cuisine here in the United States. So, Robert, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule and joining the show today.
I appreciate it. I'm hungry already.
Yes, I always say I have to stop recording these episodes at the time that I do, because when I start talking about or thinking about Italian food, it's a time where I'm hungry, you know. So again, thank you so much for being here. If you could just take a minute or two and kind of just describe your role at NIAF, how you got there, specifically what you're doing in these days.
Sure. Well, I like to think that I have the good fortune of being president of what is really the premier Italian American organization that serves as the community's voice for the 20 million or so Americans of Italian descent in our nation's capital in Washington, D.C. So we are an advocate group. We promote and support everything that is related to the Italian American community, and we serve as a bridge between the United States and Italy. We give out over $1 million a year in scholarships and grants and heritage travel opportunities. And then we work very closely with the Italian American congressional delegation that's comprised of all the congressmen and senators of Italian descent in Washington to ensure that the community is well looked after from that standpoint as well.
Wow. So, I mean, you're just doing a ton of great things for the Italian American community. And you mentioned 20 million. Is that what it is, more or less, here in the United
That's
States?
the official statistic is 17 million, but that is how many have self-identified in the census. The accurate number could even be in excess of 20 million, but I'll be happy with 20 million.
Wow. Yeah, no, 20 million is a large number. And it's typical, you know, in the Italian American community to be quite proud of our roots, and food is a big part of that as well. So just starting with you, Robert, how has your Italian heritage shaped your passion for food?
Oh goodness, I can remember my Italian grandmother, my Piemontese grandmother, who lived with us as a child. Every Sunday, I would get up and there would be the freshly made tagliarine, which are Piemontese tagliatelle, drying on the cutting board, and so obviously I was exposed to the Italian cuisine at a very early age, and I would always sneak a couple of them while they were still raw and chop away at them. But they were good raw, even better cooked. I have fond memories of Italian cuisine at an early age, for sure.
Of course. And is that your origins are Piemontese?
On one side of the family, and Toscana on the other. So
wow.
Two great culinary regions. My mother was actually born in Lucca, so I have certainly enjoyed my share of wonderful Toscana cuisine. And then I lived in Florence for a year and really got to enjoy some of the Florentine specialties, particularly the soups like papa al pomodoro and ribollita and all of those wonderful things that are served in Florence.
And the list goes on and on. So that's an interesting combination, Piemontese and Toscana, because when we talk about the Italian American community here in the U.S. specifically, a lot of people have roots mainly from the southern part.
Right.
So
That
to
is
hear
very
somebody
true.
from the north, it's a little different, and even from a food point of view, just totally different things. You mentioned tallarin, for example.
Yes. Yes.
So you've worked in throughout your career in different areas around the world, to my knowledge. How have these experiences really influenced your perception of Italian cuisine on a global scale? Because it's really loved on every angle of the globe, not just here in the United States.
Well, yes, you're absolutely right, and I can tell you, I'm an Italian nationalist, but I'm a particularly an Italian culinary nationalist. My family knows that at home they have a choice of eating Italian or Italian, and so when I'm traveling, they escape to be able to try other cuisines. But I'm one that believes that why should I try anything else when Italy offers the best cuisine, and certainly within Italy, it's a very diverse cuisine, as you pointed out, from region to region. It's all very different and all very wonderful.
Yeah, and I mean, going to Italy and eating Italian, consuming Italian food, if you want to call it Italian food, is so different from region to region, and it's like 20 different countries, if you will, or more than that, if you want to
Yes.
get to a communal level. But I'm quite similar to you when it comes to eat Italian at home, and that's specifically what I cook. But it's good, I guess, when you travel to try other things as
You
well.
know, I
There's
have
nothing wrong.
been to over 70 countries, and fortuitously, I have found good Italian cuisine to sample in all of them. I can tell you, I lived in Korea for a year when I was working in the hospitality industry, and I lost 30 pounds in the first 6 months for lack of pasta until I found a good Italian restaurant in Seoul and then
Wow,
started to eat well again. But I
love it.
always say a day without pasta is like a day without sunshine. It's bearable, but never pleasant.
Exactly. You know what? I'm going to start using that if that's okay. I love it. So as someone who is so deeply involved in the Italian American affairs, how do you view the current state of Italian cuisine here in the United States, or even more generally, the current state of the Italian American community here in the U.S.?
Well, I think they're two separate subjects. Just starting with cuisine, there is a distinct Italian American cuisine. It is to a large extent separate from Italian cuisine, which does not make it any better or any worse. They're both wonderful cuisines, but I happen to be a purist. I particularly care more for pure Italian cuisine, but that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy being in Chicago, where they have something called chicken Vesuvio, which is a creation of the Italian Americans in Chicago, or an Italian beef, or an Italian sausage sandwich. Italian immigrants adopted, being really culinarily innovative. They adapted to the ingredients that they had when they arrived here, and certainly they had far more meat than they had in Italy, and so they made use of it. And there's nothing like a good Italian beef sandwich that you can get here in Chicago, where I am at.
Of course,
But
and yeah, I
but I
think
think there's more and more, really true Italian food offerings. I mean, I can remember when something like burrata was a novelty. Now you can find it anywhere. So there has been really an influx of what I would say are genuine Italian foodstuffs for the last 20 plus years that we didn't have when I was growing up. So I'm very happy for that fact. And so I would say that the state of Italian cuisine is good. I have some real gripes. I really take issue with those restaurateurs that try and cut corners by not serving authentic Parmigiano Reggiano, by trying to cheat by serving Pecorino or Romano. Someday I'm going to write an article called "Stop the Pecorino Madness" because there are a few dishes that call for pecorino, particularly the Roman pastas, but the most of the pastas call for good Parmigiano Reggiano, and I insist on it when I go to a restaurant. If I see that it's not going to be, that gives me a warning right there that the restaurant is not as authentic as I would like it to be.
That's a red flag right there. In fact, I totally agree with that. We 100% align. It has to be the real deal. And in fact, that's how my page started, Stop Italian Sounding. My first post was the difference between Parmigiano Reggiano and Parmesan.
Oh, I did
Um,
not know that, but there's a
yes.
world of difference, that's for
Oh,
sure.
yes, 100%. Exactly. Exactly.
And I'm
So
very proud to say that actually the consortium of Parmigiano Reggiano is a sponsor of the National Italian American Foundation. So I was
great.
quite keen to sign that sponsorship agreement and do what we can to promote authentic Parmigiano Reggiano.
Absolutely. That's a great sponsorship. They're a great consortium, great people, great cheese. And just recounting the history of that cheese is so much fun because you're not eating cheese, you're eating the territory. And
That's right.
that's like that with so many different foods as well. And I think that that is one I want to say maybe misconception that people may have when speaking about food in general, that there's such a strict link to a specific terroir, and Italy has so many different microclimates, and its biodiversity is just enormous. So what are some of, in your opinion, the biggest misconceptions that you've personally seen regarding Italian food here in the US?
Well, the biggest, I think, without a doubt, is that it has to have a lot of garlic. I'm not opposed to a little bit of garlic, but it is in far too many Italian restaurants overpowering. And that's another dead giveaway. If they walk in and the restaurant just reeks of garlic, that's another sign to me that it's not authentic. And
Interesting coming from somebody who has Piemontese origins with
yes,
the
yes,
bagna
I'm not
cauda.
yes, the bagna cauda. I'd rather have a bagna freddo. I think
Yeah,
I'm not a
yeah.
big fan of all the garlic that goes in there. But that is, I mean, the bagna cauda is a traditional Piemontese dish, which definitely calls
Right,
for
right.
garlic. There are so many dishes that don't call for garlic that Italian American chefs just put in too much garlic. And my other gripe, I mean, you're very therapeutic because you're letting me express all my frustrations when it
This is
comes to
music to my ears right now.
Italian cuisine. Is overcooked pasta and oversauced pasta. I always say pasta cannot swim, so do not serve me pasta drowning in sauce because it changes the whole complexity of the dish. And don't overcook the pasta. It was made to serve al dente. That's probably one thing that 60 million Italians can agree on is that pasta can. One of the few things that 60 million Italians will agree on is that
Exactly.
pasta should be al dente.
Absolutely. Yes, 100%. And pasta is another interesting topic because I feel like here in the United States, we tend to demonize the concept of carbs,
Yes, they're
and it's a battle I've
absolutely.
been fighting
These
forever.
low carb people are cultists, as far as I'm concerned. Stay away from them because they're dangerous.
Yes,
Sophia Loren said famously, "Everything you see, I owe to pasta." that that is what pasta produces. This whole business that pasta makes you fat, ridiculous. Italians eat 3 times as much pasta per capita as Americans do and have a third of the rate of obesity that Americans do. So don't tell me that pasta is the problem. It's clearly not. It's our general diet here in the US. It's our lack of exercise compared to in Italy where people walk everywhere. But pasta is not the problem. Stay away from the low carb types.
exactly. No, you're 100% correct. And also we could even talk about the ingredients and the quality of the food that's produced within Italy, and of course the lifestyle, like you just mentioned, and diet, which plays a huge role. So I feel like we have a lot of work to do here in the United States. But I found interesting the Accademia Italiana della Cucina. I wanted to talk a second about that. So you founded the Chicago chapter of the Accademia Italiana della Cucina. What exactly is that?
Yes.
What's its mission? What does it do?
It is its mission is really to certify authentic Italian restaurants, and it's a venerable organization that began in the immediate post World War II years. And we had a consul general in Chicago at the time who had just come from Mexico City, where there was a chapter, and he was rather shocked that there was not a chapter in Chicago. And so he asked me to serve as the first what they call a delegato of the delegate of the chapter. And so we created it. We put together the membership, and then we went and began having what they call convivial dinners at these various restaurants. And at the end of the dinner, you give out a voting tab to the members, and they vote on various aspects of the dinner, which then enables you to either confer or deny the restaurant membership in the Accademia Italiana della Cucina. They have chapters all over the world, and it's a well-regarded Italian culinary organization.
Wow. Those the members that are accepted in the Accademia Italiana della Cucina, is there a like because that can that membership expire, or because what if things were to
Yeah,
change?
well, yes, the membership certainly is a dues paying membership. It's by invitation only, but yes, membership is only as good as is how long you want to officially remain as a member.
Right. Okay. And the recognition of specific restaurants that the academia actually recognizes. So you kind of in a way certify them as
That's correct. And the Accademia office in Italy puts out a guidebook of all of the officially certified restaurants around the world that many Italians carry with them in their luggage because, when they want their fix of good Italian food, they turn to that directory to know what's really authentic.
right. You gotta love that. I mean, I think we're gonna have to have access to that list as well because you never know. Another, you made me think another funny thing when Italians travel, they also tend to travel with the mocha as well because you have to have good coffee.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely. You can't
that's
start your day without it.
no, you cannot. So no, that's great. So in terms of NIAF, how does it work to preserve and promote authentic Italian cuisine here in the United States while still, of course, respecting Italian American cuisine and culture? Because, like you mentioned before, there are two different things. One, of course, comes from the other, both to be respected totally.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
what does NIAF specifically do? What are they engaged in? What are you
Well,
engaged
I think we promote both. To be honest with you, I mean, if you look at our social media, one day we are talking about the Feast of the Seven Fishes, which really doesn't exist that I've seen in Italy, but is inherently an Italian American occasion. And then the next day we're talking about what makes Parmigiano Reggiano authentic versus Parmesan. So we do cover both ends of the spectrum, trying to give credence to both because they are both genuine cuisines and they're both delicious cuisines. I will tell you, however, that to my mind it is sauce and not gravy. I don't know how you feel about it,
I
but
agree. I agree.
yes, gravy is something that you serve on Thanksgiving, as far
I
as I'm
think,
concerned.
well, when you say exactly, when you say gravy, I think of a ragu. I'm just
Yes, that's
translating,
yes.
ragu and then sauce sugo.
Yeah,
I think
it
that that
right,
makes sense.
exactly. It all should really be sugo, but that's only
Exactly.
for those that can
Exactly.
speak Italian as well as you do, for sure.
Well, if for the people who are listening, can we start saying sugo, please? It's an
Yes.
easy word to say.
Yes,
I think
and
everybody
it
could pronounce
solves
it.
the dilemma. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly, exactly. So you were talking about Italian American cuisine, and it's been bugging me for the past few minutes. You mentioned chicken Vesuvio, I think it was before. I have to ask, what is that? Because I'm from the Northeast. I don't know what is it.
So chicken Vesuvio is a chicken dish that I have only seen in Italian American restaurants in Chicago, and it is called Vesuvio because it's very spicy chicken. It's oven baked chicken that is done with a little bit of garlic, not too much, but
Well, it depends
olive
what a
oil.
little means.
Yes, yes. Well, that's open to interpretation, but and served with wonderful roasted potato wedges, as only Italians can make roasted potatoes. Fabulous. I do feel sorry for our Irish friends that continue to boil them because they haven't experienced a good roasted potato or even a gnocco that has been made out of potato. But it's called Vesuvio because it's a spicy dish made with the chili peppers and the like, and it's very good. but unique to Chicago, as the Philly steak sandwich, again invented by Italians in the Northeast, is unique to Philadelphia.
Right, gotcha. That makes sense. Very interesting. I thought it would have had a history similar to that of chicken parm, for example, but I guess they're two totally different things.
As far as I know, yes.
Okay. Awesome. So in terms of NIAF and different people that you've honored in terms of the Italian American community, the Italian community, I'm sure you've honored many chefs and individuals in the food industry and specific
Yes, we
leaders, let's
have.
just say. So who
Sure.
are some figures that you believe are making good impact, significant impact in preserving the Italian culinary
Well,
traditions here in the
let's
U.S.?
start with someone who's very close to our foundation, and that's Lydia Bastianich, who we really admire and do a lot of work with. She's a strong supporter of all that we do, as is Giada De Laurentiis, another supporter of the foundation, who we actually honored at our gala a couple of years ago. But there are really so many true exponents of the Italian cuisine, and we really try and give a platform to all of them through the National Italian American Foundation. And we try and educate people. Each year we honor a different region of Italy. And last year it was Friuli, Venezia Giulia. This year it's Lazio. So at our gala in October, the whole meal will be Lazio themed, and so we try and educate our people that the cuisines are very different from year to year. You can imagine going from Friuli to Lazio, that
Oh,
it's
big difference, night and day.
quite a big difference. Yes.
Yes, and I'm very excited for that gala because I about a month ago purchased a ticket, so I will see you there in
I look
October. I'm
forward to it. I hope you're pleased with the food.
I think I will be. What are some projects that NIAF is currently working on, or some collaborations? I do know that you're involved with Italea,
Yes.
and you
Yes.
just signed a
So
memorandum of understanding with the Società Dant'Alighieri, if I'm not
yes,
mistaken.
yeah, absolutely. So let's go back to Italea. First of all, we signed an accord with the Italian Foreign Ministry to promote the concept of roots tourism, because the Italian government would like you, as an Italian American, to return to the towns of your ancestors, and most, as you were saying earlier, at least in this country, have roots in these small southern towns that don't get a lot of economic development. So it's really an economic development program as well, hoping that you will go back and spend some money in your ancestral hometown, and really feel closer to your roots in that experience. So we're promoting that program, which the Italian government is spending a lot of money working on. And then, as you say, we just signed this accord with the Società Dante Alighieri for the promotion of Italian language. You're going to start to see very soon through our NIAF social media that we're going to be offering opportunities for our members to take courses through the Società Dante Alighieri, which is the equivalent to the Alliance Francaise or the Cervantes Institute. It's a worldwide organization for the promotion of the Italian language. So those are just a couple of things. And then, of course, this is our 50th anniversary year this year. So we have a lot of specific initiatives geared to our 50th anniversary. We're going to have a book coming out on the history of NIAF. Rye is doing a documentary on the history
Oh,
of the
wow.
foundation. And what I'm proudest of, actually, it shows you how important NIAF is to Italy. They are dedicating a commemorative postage stamp in Italy to the 50th anniversary of
Wow, that's
NIAF. So
fantastic.
it's quite an important year, and it's going to culminate with the gala that you've already purchased a ticket for. And I'm pleased to let everyone know that the first announced guest of honor at the gala will be Andrea Bocelli, who will be singing a few songs as well as accepting his honor.
I am so looking forward to that. Everything you just mentioned sounds fantastic, and NIAF is doing great things for to represent really the Italian culture and the Italian heritage here in the United States. But really, it serves as an example around the world, I would say, and it's great to know that you're
It
focusing a
does,
lot on.
because actually the our friends to the north of us in Canada reached out to us last year, and we actually signed an accord with the largest Italian organization in Canada. So now we are a united diaspora of surely over 20 million between the Canadians and the Americans of Italian descent.
Good, good, great. That's great. That's great to know. And I'm also happy to know that you're focusing on the Italian language. That's very important because one thing as Italian Americans that we don't have is the language. Unlike Hispanic Americans, for example, that maintain that throughout their generations. The Italian language, unfortunately, has gone a little lost. Maybe speak dialect
Yeah,
here or there,
I think
but
there was a rupture during World War II when it was, the language of the enemy, and you weren't supposed to speak, and everybody was told to speak English. And even before that, they were told to speak English because, of course, there was a forceful discrimination at the time against Americans of Italian descent. So I think people of your generation are really reclaiming their Italian heritage and their language skills. So I'm very pleased about that.
right. So exactly. Everybody listen who does not speak Italian, please learn it. Please also, if you're Italian American, take advantage of Italea. And I think the website is italea.com, correct? That's
Yes.
Italea.com.
One of the
Very
really
important.
interesting facets of that website is that you can research your ancestry. So you can punch in the name of your grandfather or great grandmother, and hopefully find out details when they were married, where they were married, where they came from, etc.
So interesting. I know going to Italy and discovering my roots, if you will, and meeting my relatives that are from Molise, the small little region underneath Abruzzo, which yes does exist because there's a
Absolutely.
joke in Italy.
Yes, yeah,
um,
they do joke about that. Yes,
yes,
I
yes.
come from
Hopefully, what?
well,
Oh, do you?
yeah, I say Piemonte, but it's really Valdosta. So no one knows where Valdosta is. It's
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
smaller than Molise,
It's
next
just
to
I get
Piemonte. Yeah. So
yes.
used to be
Yeah, if I'm
one
not
one
mistaken,
entire region. Yes,
if I'm not mistaken, Valdosta only has one provincia. It's Aosta,
yes,
correct?
it's
Okay,
Aosta.
yeah. So
Bravo.
I guess
Yes,
we have two, so
yes,
there we doubled
yeah.
already.
So you're bigger. So you're twice the size. So that should make
Exactly.
you feel good. Yes,
Exactly. But what I was saying is going back to your roots, discovering your roots is life altering. It's life changing. It just opens your eyes to a totally different way of life and living and appreciation for certain things. And I urge everyone to take advantage of that and really to explore the website italea.com to learn Italian through the Dante Alighieri Society, which Robert, you said you'll have more information on NIAF website. I'm
yes,
assuming.
shortly. Yes.
Awesome. So for the young Italian Americans out there, take advantage, please. So one final thing, because I want to be respectful of your time, Robert. For young Italian Americans looking to enter the food industry, for example, whether as chefs, food entrepreneurs, or whatever it may be, how could NIAF support or offer any type of support for them?
Well, I think one of the ways we do it is through the scholarships that we give out. If you're going to make Italian food a passion, you should be spending some time in Italy. And we have certain scholarships that are designated that you have to take at Italian schools. So that's one way we could certainly help right there. And we're also beginning a new internship program. And it won't be long before that program expands into the food sector. Right now, it started with the Provincia di Mantua, and we are sending a number of young people over for internships in the Provincia di Mantua. And they actually just launched their food initiative. I was there for the onset of it. It's called Mantua Food, and Mantua is the heartland of Grana Padano, which is a similar cheese to Parmigiano Reggiano. And so they have some wonderful food items there. And just one example of an area that we're working with in Italy, and very, very soon expanding to food within that area as well.
Great, great. So there are a lot of different opportunities, and I guess stepping foot in Italy is the first step, if you will.
Absolutely. If you want to know the real Italian food, you have to spend some time there. There's a world of difference. Everything, as you well know, tastes better, more flavorful, from the tomatoes to the pasta. Everything. It's the water. It's
Exactly.
the soil. It's everything is different, and to my taste better.
Absolutely. No, totally agree. Robert, thank you so much for being here for this conversation, for this insight into NIAF and what a few things that you do, and a lot of great things. So again, thank you very much.
And thank you for this therapy session. It's been very therapeutic. I get to talk about my favorite subject and vent about my frustrations when they're not done correctly.
Yes, yes, of course. Anytime, anytime. So, grazie mille.
Grazie. Alla prossima.
Thank you for joining me on this journey through the stories of authentic Italian cuisine. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast for more insights and interviews. Also, feel free to reach out with your thoughts or questions on our social media channels at Stop Italian Sounding or on our website, stopitasounding.com. Grazie a tutti e alla prossima.
Sentire Media.
Hey, podcast producers and show hosts. Do you want to join a podcast network that celebrates all things Italian? At Sentire Media, we understand the allure of Italy and its unique culture. Our devoted team of hosts and producers are all driven by their shared passion for Italy. And we work tirelessly to create the best lifestyle podcasts and content that will whisk you away to the very heart of Italy. With us, you can savor the mouth-watering flavors, get lost in the stories from the past, break down the cultural barriers, and truly immerse yourself in the vibrant traditions of this intoxicating country. If you have a great podcast idea or are already in production and would like to join Sentire Media, head over to sentiremedia.com, that's SENTIRE media.com, and find out how to submit your show.